This is the Para Cave Podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Leagues Club, and co-sponsors Bo Cook from Loan Market, Scott from Brightside Detailing and Ceramics, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, BTZD Clothing, the official clothing partner of the Para Cave Podcast, and the official media partner of the Para Cave Podcast, the Parramatta Times. And hello listeners, and welcome back to the Para Cave Podcast. This episode is my chat that I had with the Duckman on his weekend sports wrap chat on Friday night, and just after 7 o'clock on Pulse FM 89.9 FM. So if you'd like to catch the live version, then tune into Pulse FM 89.9 FM just after 7 o'clock, and you'll hear me chat about the NRL Round with the Duckman on his weekend sports wrap show. But this is the replay, and we talk about round number 7 in the NRL. Already one game played in that round, and that was the Rabbitohs and Dolphins. And during the chat, the Sharks and Roosters game was happening. And by the time you hear this podcast, the Sea Eagles and Storm would have played. But we preview all the other games throughout the weekend. Warriors and Cowboys, Knights and Panthers, Titans, Broncos, Raiders, Dragons, and the big clash at CommBank Stadium, the Eels and the Bulldogs. So these are just my thoughts, not an expert's thoughts, just a fan's thoughts about the greatest game of all, rugby league. And here is my chat with the Duckman. So it's over to you, Duckman.
All right, welcome back to Weekend Sports Wrap. A very casual Friday. On this, it's Saturday night. It's not Saturday night, I can tell you that right now. It's a Friday night with the Duckman, and now we've got a special guest on, Troy Warner from the Para Cave Podcast. Troy, how are you going?
Oh, going fantastic, Duckman. Sounds like a little bit better than you at the moment, but Friday night it is, and going great. Looking forward to a great weekend of footy.
Absolutely. These short weeks, I'm thrown in a bit of disarray at the moment, so I've got a lot of things going on. And I've got to get focused, get back in the zone. So as they say, or Mavericks and Top Gun, get back in the game, brother. So that I'll try to do. All right. So last night we had the Dolphins. They took on the Rabbitohs, and the Rabbitohs, not surprised that they won, but surprised maybe that they gave them a bit of a spanking. 36 points to 14 there. Did you watch any of that game last night?
Yeah, I did. What a game it was. The Dolphins, they really started off really well. They scored a try in the first minute to Ewan Aiken, and then Jeremy Marshall-King, who I think has been one of their better players in this season, in their debut season. Unfortunately, he had a couple of weeks suspension there, but he has been one of the shining lights for the Dolphins. He got over for a try. And the Dolphins were winning 14-6 at half-time, and the Rabbitohs looked a little bit flat. But, yeah, I don't know what Jason Demetriou said at half-time, but the Rabbitohs came out after half-time and just absolutely blitzed it, blew them away, and 30-0 in the second half to the Rabbitohs. So, big win to them.
Absolutely. I'm surprised that the Rabbitohs keep going behind in these games at the moment, because the quality of players they've got, if they turned it on, they could literally nearly start sealing the premiership from round one. I think on paper, they've easily been the top 4 sides, and I think they easily match Penrith at the moment, and perhaps only the Roosters do them on quality in the top end. So for more depth of quality in particular, the Rabbitohs, they're big guns like Latrell and Cody Walker. When they aim up and turn it on, they really do turn it on.
Yeah, look, at the start of the season, a lot of people had a lot of promise about the Rabbitohs being right up there with the Panthers and with the Roosters, as you said, and Melbourne Storm as well. They've been a little bit slow starters this season. They got off to a win in the first round against the Sharks, at Shark Park, but since then they've been a little bit quiet. Latrell Mitchell, he's their star fullback. He's been a bit quiet this year. He had a great game last week in his 150th. He had an okay game, I thought, last night against the Dolphins. So he is slowly finding his feet, leading in. That's week 7, so slowly leading into that origin period, which is still 6 weeks away or so. So, but they're finding their feet. But one player out of the Rabbitohs who I think is really putting his hand up for an origin spot at the moment is Campbell Graham. Scored another 2 tries last night, and with the injury to Josh Addo-Carr, you would think maybe that Campbell Graham might find him on the wing for New South Wales.
Yeah, on the wing. I reckon you could play him as a centre too, So, like, he's pretty quick. He's good with the ball, and he's a big guy as well. So,
yeah, that's where he plays. That's where he plays for South Sydney at the moment. But then you have to think that potentially Latrell will play one centre and Tommy Turbo will play the other centre, potentially like they did a few years ago in Origin. So might force Campbell. I think Campbell started off as a winger and moved into the centres. So winger is not a is not a strange position to him. So and he did represent Australia last year at the World Cup, I think, on the wing as well. So.
And he did a good job too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So he's definitely putting his hand up for that vacant wing spot with Josh Addo-Carr now going down.
Yeah, absolutely. In the other games on today, so got the Sharks up against the Roosters, and the Sharks just scored a couple of minutes ago there, so is now 12-all. How do you think that is going to turn out?
Yeah, look, I tipped the Sharks at home. They're coming off a bye, so they should be fresh and ready. And, both teams need a win. They've started their season off slowly. I think both teams are 2 wins and a bye, so they're very slow at the moment. So they both want to win, but I think the Sharks more than the Roosters will need this win. The Roosters have got a bit of a hoodoo over the Sharks. I don't think the Sharks have beaten the Roosters since 2017, I think, or 16. So they've got the wood over them at the moment, so they want to try and break that hoodoo. And, it's been a very sort of sloppy game at the moment up until now. Now it's getting into a bit of a grinding game at the moment, 12-all. Mulatalo just scored in the corner. He's unbelievable in the air when you get near that corner post, the things that he can do. So still half an hour to go, so still anybody's game.
Yeah, absolutely. Today as well, tonight, 8 p.m, we've got the Seagulls up against the Storm. So I said before, I think the Seagulls are going to have some problems here, because the Storm look like they're starting to click into gear now. Even without Ryan Pappenhausen, they look pretty special now, and they will start improving going forward.
Yeah, look, the Storm had a good win against the Roosters last week down there in Melbourne. They go to 4 Pines Park, or as the traditionalists like to call it, Brookvale Oval. Memories of the old Battle of Brookvale those years ago with Glenn Stewart and Adam Blair. But the Seagulls, they've been struggling in the last couple of weeks. They had that 32-all draw against Newcastle, so they managed to just get a point out of that game, and then they absolutely capitulated against the Panthers last week in that first half, and 32-0 at half time. So they'll be looking to get back home and give a good showing against the Storm. They're fierce rivals. Interesting, Cameron Munster's gone back to fullback for this game with the return of Jerome Hughes after his suspension. So he comes back into the side, and Jonah Pezzett playing at 5'8". I think Nick Meaney is out due to concussion protocols. So that's why we see Cameron Munster go back to fullback. So and it'll also be interesting to see how Tommy Turbo goes as well, Tom Trbojevic, because there was thoughts there that he may have injured his back last week against the Panthers. Yeah,
that'd be interesting to see how that goes, because he's starting to pick up all sorts of different injuries now. on top of his hamstring injury. So it's becoming mental as well, and how he deals with the mental side of it and recovering as well as the physical ailments going to probably have a big decision on how the Seagulls go throughout the year. They'll make a massive impact on how that results there. Let's have a look at the next game here. The Warriors up against Cowboys tomorrow, 3 p.m. I think the Warriors, they're looking good for this, and I reckon they're going to get the Chockies.
Yeah, look, I tipped the Warriors as well. I think over there in New Zealand, they should get the win against the Cowboys. The Cowboys are really struggling this year. They get the return of Scott Drinkwater back at fullback from his suspension, so that's a good in for them. But the Warriors, they've been playing some really good footy this year. So I think just back at home, I think they'll get the win. You don't know though with the Warriors. We've seen over the last 10 years or ever since they've been in the competition, they can be high, they can be low, and they had that amazing game against the Sharks 2 weeks ago. So, but yeah, I'm tipping the Warriors to get this win, and the Cowboys, they'll be desperate to win this game because they've been struggling this year. They're not the Cowboys of 2022, but so they'll want to try and get this win.
Yeah, so I just don't think the Cowboys will do it. I think they're out of touch. They're going to just take a little bit to click in the gear, but as they do, they're giving up extra weeks and getting harder to do that process. So the Knights, they host the Panthers tomorrow. I'm expecting the Panthers will win and sit second on the table, but I think the Knights are going to bring a pretty strong game, and they've been playing pretty well lately too. So I think Adam O'Brien would be happy how they're going heading into this game. I'm not sure if they can get the points against the Panthers, but
yeah, I don't think they can. I think the Panthers will win this game, although up at Newcastle, they always seem to grow an extra leg, the Newcastle Knights. They just get that hometown support of their fans that turn up week in, week out, even if they are losing games. They just get that support up there. So, yeah, you never know whether the Knights can pull off this victory. It's probably unlikely. Pretty much full strength Panthers side, just missing a few players. James Fisher-Harris comes to mind. But, yeah, I think the Panthers will get this win. Be interesting to see if Dominic Young can score another try. He's been a try-scoring machine lately. After he was dropped a few weeks ago back to reserve grade, he's come back to fullback, first grade, and I think he scored 4 tries against Manly and a couple last week as well. So they'll be up for this game, but it's going to be difficult against the Premiers.
Yeah, absolutely will be. And tomorrow as well, got Titans up against the Broncos. So I'd like to think the Titans can probably go on and get another win here, but I think the Broncos will bounce back, and they're going to bounce back pretty strong. And although saying that last year, the Titans looked like they're going to beat the Broncos out of the blue, and then the Broncos just snatched it at the last minute, I think.
Yeah, look, this is going to be an interesting game. Obviously, 2 Queensland teams, local, sort of a local derby, I guess you could call it. The Broncos coming off their loss last week against the Raiders, and the Titans, they always step up against these games against the Broncos because they want to beat them. They want to show who's the number 1 team in Queensland. So obviously at the moment it's the Broncos and probably the Dolphins as well at the moment. So the Titans will want to show that they can get one over their big brothers, I guess you could call. Kieran Foran comes back this week, back into the 5/8 role, so that's a pleasing thing for the Titans to get his experience back into the side. I think, though, the Broncos will be... I'm tipping the Broncos in this one to bounce back after their loss against the Raiders.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that the Broncos will get the win there. Adam Reynolds will be the difference, and the difference could be 10 points or as much as that anyway. So we'll have a look how it all turns out tomorrow. On Sunday, you got the Raiders up against the Dragons. So the Raiders will be buoyed with confidence, and the Dragons, I I think they could have won that game. Probably should have won that game against Titans last week. So I'm wondering if that's going to be a mental thing that might hold them back in this game against the Raiders.
Yeah, look, it's down in Canberra, and I think for many a year, I think the Dragons had a big hoodoo against the Raiders. They couldn't win down there in Canberra, so they did win a couple of years ago to break that hoodoo, but it's going to be tough for them to go down to the nation's capital and get the win. Jack Whiten comes back from suspension, so that'll be a big in for Canberra. Nick Kotrick's back as well. Unfortunately, Jordan Rapana's out. We all saw that massive head injury that he suffered last week against the Broncos, so he's got the mandatory stand-down period. So he'll be back next week, you would assume. So, look, you'd probably almost have to tip the Raiders, I think, after the way they played against the Broncos last week to get that win. You would think they'd have to go into the same game against the Dragons, a lower opponent, with the same mentality as if they are playing the Broncos. So, I think the Raiders will get this win.
Yeah, well, I do think that the Raiders will probably get the win. I wouldn't be surprised, though, with the Dragons. They turn it on at the wrong times, unfortunately. The pressure that's sitting on Anthony Griffin is just stupid at the moment. They keep going, I've got to get rid of him, I wouldn't want to be the Dragons coach. I think the only thing that could be worse is maybe being the Knights coach, because they compare everything back to what happened when Andrew Johns was there and they had Maori and all this sort of stuff. Like, seriously, they got to move forward from that. And the big game, I'm going to guess you're going to be going to this one, the Eels against the Bulldogs on Sunday at 4:05 p.m. How do you reckon the Eels are going to go?
Yeah, well, they got the win against the Tigers on Easter Monday, the traditional game there, 28-20. Late, they secured that game late in the second half there. Big bonus for Parramatta is Junior Paolo is back from suspension, so that's a massive in for Parramatta. Good news for Regan Campbell-Gillard as well. He gets his front row partner back, so they always like to work together in tandem. Big news today, Brendan Hands has re-signed for another 2 years at Parramatta, so that's a great thing for the Parramatta club there. Obviously, the big out during the week for Canterbury was Viliami Kikau. He's out with a pec injury, so he's out for a while. We mentioned before, Josh Adokar is out as well. So 2 strike players there missing from the Bulldogs side. Although Tavita Pangai Jr. comes back to make his debut for 2023, back from injury. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. But 280.
I think he was a good pickup by the Bulldogs, getting him from the Panthers and via the Broncos. That was the Broncos, and then went to Panthers to help Panthers out for a while last year. He is a good player and is an underrated player too, really.
Yeah, we all saw the potential that he had at the Broncos when he was up there, and I think he had a few off-field issues and personal issues that he needed to sort out, so he got away from Queensland and, as you said, landed at the Panthers. Unfortunately, suffered an injury and didn't play in the 2021 grand final because it looked like he was going to. I think that may have been in the prelim final. So a big blow there for Tavita. But then he signed with the Bulldogs as well, so for 2022. So his first game back, as I said, from injury, so he'll be chomping at the bit to get back on that field and hopefully get back to some of that Brisbane Broncos form, because with Viliami Kikau out now, it'd probably be time for maybe Tavita to be that forward leader. So another interesting thing as well is Reid Marnie comes back to CommBank Stadium to play against his old club for the first time. So that'll be an interesting thing to see how the crowd, which you would expect to be hopefully a sellout crowd, being a Sunday afternoon game, how they react to Reid Marnie being on the opposition.
Yeah, absolutely. So I heard a couple of things on Triple M today. They got stuck into Dylan Brown, said he needs to actually aim up and do something. So they think that he's not really playing at his ability and he can play higher and better than what he has been. And they think that this is limiting some of what Mitchell Moses can do and what they get out of the whole side as a whole. I don't know about that myself.
Yeah, I think even a few weeks ago, I think Dylan himself came out and said, look, he hasn't been playing his best football so far in 2023 compared to what he was doing in 2022. And he's admitted that. But I think, yeah, it is a big game. His opposite number is Matt Burton, so we all know what he can do on a field. There was glimpses last week of Dylan getting back to his best. He's got his edge partner back, Big Sean Lane. So we all saw last year how good a combination they were together on that. I think it's the left-hand side of the field. We all saw that combination. So Sean Lane's only come back last week, so another run for him under his belt will be good, and that'll give Dylan more confidence as well, considering the form they had together last season.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's a good player, and Sean Lane makes a big difference to how he goes as well. So, and a lot of sides do that. They'll have their 5'8" for a smaller guy. If they've got a smaller halfback, will get effectively protected or shielded, so they're not getting run over by the other team's big forwards. So, and they don't play like rugby. They split one on one side, one on the other side. So they've effectively got two halfbacks. One's a 5'8" on either side of the ruck, and split the backs out, centres either side, wingers either side. Then the fullback jumps into wherever he wants to go, and that seems to work all right. So Sean Lane will probably help get the best out of Dylan Brown, which is a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, as I said last year, they had a great combination together, led the Parramatta team to a grand final against the Panthers, and both probably had the best seasons of their careers. I think Sean Lane won the Parramatta's Player of the Year, so they both probably had the best season of their careers to date, and they'll be looking to get that form back and hopefully get the win on Sunday, and then slowly get those wins throughout the year and just slowly get back up that NRL ladder.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you got on over the weekend, Troy, other than watching some footy? So you're going to be at the Parramatta game on Sunday?
Yeah, so work tomorrow, and then the big game at CommBank Stadium on Sunday. Australia's best rectangular stadium, and a special happy birthday to CommBank Stadium. It's their 4th birthday today. So 2019 they opened. So 4 years has gone pretty fast. And just another quick special happy birthday message as well to my mum as well. It's her birthday as well, so happy birthday, Mum. But so I'll probably catch up with her tomorrow and celebrate that, and just work and watch footy, and that's about it. Nothing too exciting, but looking forward to seeing some great footy.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know your mum is a massive supporter of you, probably more than your wife, and as mums are, they follow you even through when you do the dumbest stuff. Happy birthday to your mum. I hope she has a great day tomorrow. And I better give a shout out to my wife. Happy 7th wedding anniversary tomorrow to Mrs. Duckman, or T-Rex, as people know, my wife Tammy. So, hope you have a good day. Football's not on, thankfully, for me, so I'll be able to do some stuff with her. So we won on forfeit. That's a big win.
Oh, well,
Troy, I'm going to let you...
Happy anniversary, guys, for tomorrow.
Yeah. Absolutely. I appreciate it very much. So did the 5-year wedding anniversary, went back to where we got married at Loxley's up the road from here in Bellbird Hill up on Currajong, and we'll be going there for 10th wedding anniversary tomorrow. I think we're just going to go out and party a bit tomorrow night at the Million Fiddler or something like that and try to relive our misspent youth or something.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's very good indeed. Troy, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it, and look forward to having a chat to you on Sunday. Maybe we might pre-record if you want, or something like that, or I'll call in and see how you go on live on air. Might try to do it before you get to the Parramatta game, or actually it'll be after the game, because you're on at 7 anyway. So the game is normally done, probably by about quarter, if it's a 4 or 5, probably be done by like quarter to 6 and something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah, we can work something out for sure. Not a problem at all.
Yeah, too easy. All right, so everybody, if Troy sounds a bit hoarse on Sunday, it is due to shouting out for the Eels. We'd be very excited if they win indeed, and look forward to having a chat to you on Sunday night.
Absolutely, Duckman. Thank you very much for having me once again, and we'll chat Sunday. Enjoy your footy over the weekend.
No, absolutely will. Thanks, Troy. I'll chat to you then.
Thanks, mate.